paid good money to see this movie. When they go out to a theater, they want cold sodas, hot popcorn, and no monsters in the projection booth.
Everyone pretend podcasting isn't boring.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
You bought your sister a hooker?
I love you.
I love you too.
You're not full of shit. And when you're out there, remember, you are a goddamn fuck machine.
Hello? I got the milk. Oh.
First, I thought it was a shotgun or an exploding round, but this is handmade, like someone carved into the back of his head.
Our job is to intervene before such things happen. Let's just go find Liam.
What about my bike?
I think you did it.
There's a dead guy, Thea. That guy we fuck, he's dead.
Sleep with me.
The signature of a homo serial killer!
Did you do it?
Then you're gonna have fun tonight!
Hey folks, welcome to a special episode of The Projection Booth. I'm your host, Mike White. On this episode, I'm talking with writer-director Alex Phillips. He is the force behind the new film Anything That Moves, which is currently playing at film festivals around the world. I don't really want to talk about what this movie is about because it is very interesting and something that really should be seen to be experienced. So if you have a chance to see Anything That Moves, definitely do so. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this interview. Alex, tell me a little bit about how you got interested in filmmaking.
I was really obsessed with watching movies at a very young age. I remember going in Cleveland, Ohio, I remember going and seeing, like, at a giant movie palace, the 70 millimeter series. They did The Bridge Over River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia. And I remember obsessively watching Lawrence of Arabia, like, over and over on VHS. And then when I got a little older, I got a camera, just like a little DV camera, and made a lot of trailers with my friends. We would make these trailers for these movies that didn't exist and never have existed, just coming soon, The Cretin or something. We'd make these weird horror movies and action movies that never came to light, but we'd make these little trailers for them. I was always obsessed with that and just watching a lot of movies. And then I got into playwriting. I did a lot of theater as well. I did theater in college. I did some, like, clown stuff, some fringe festival stuff. And I staged my first play that I wrote. And no, I didn't direct it. I starred in it. It was one of my few acting roles. It was called Gun Club. And then that took me to Northwestern, where then I used their equipment cage, because my undergrad didn't really have any equipment. And then I just ran amok with camera gear and started, directing my own writing. Because a lot of people would read my scripts and be like, what the hell are you? What do you want from me? And then I was like, I know exactly what I want. I don't know why I need you. And then I just started making shorts and it ballooned from there.
This might be a little unfair because I probably should be the one that explains what your aesthetic is when it comes to the intro for this particular episode. But can you explain your aesthetic to the people listening at home?
Sure. Yeah, I love every and any opportunity to talk about my work. So to be able to explain myself, I relish at the opportunity. The way that I talk about myself on Vimeo is that I took too much acid and now I have paranoid sexual nightmares. I really like expressionistic filmmaking. Like, I believe in film as a visual medium, but I'm also, like, passionate about writing books and plays and all that stuff. So I try to, like, marry those two forms of storytelling to create a Dionysian effect with the budgets that I am allowed to be playing around with. So creating excess to instill and evoke emotion in the viewer. And yeah, I also creating like a sort of uncanny tone that's somewhere between like funny and scary, or all at the same time.
I am definitely familiar with your last film, All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. Can you talk a little bit about that? And was that your first feature?
Yeah, that was my first feature. That one was about these two dudes. They have concurrent storylines and then they collide and they get addicted to these hallucinogenic worms. They kind of take them on this horrific, kind of funny, but also totally fucked up journey of, I guess, a little bit of self-discovery and a little bit of just worm discovery. It's like a love story about two bros and also about worms and finding family in the self-destruction.
I kind of hate this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Where do your ideas come from?
Yeah, that's a terrible question. I like dealing with the personal, like my own life experiences, but I don't really like realism very much. I don't actually think that's the most empathetic way to access or present your own life experiences or what you go through. I think that by just depicting stuff in a dream or using genre in different modes to access the personal, I think that's a better way to get deeper into stuff and also make it more relatable to an audience.
What was your inspiration for Anything That Moves?
Anything That Moves came from the root of the idea came from when I was like 22, 24. I was a bike delivery guy and I was going through a little bit of a tough time personally, so I was feeling like really like weird and outside of the world, but I also was delivering these sandwiches to these shut-in people all around the neighborhood. And I was their only point of contact to the outside world sometimes. And they were very excited to see me in different capacities. Sometimes they would actually like proposition me or hit on me and try to kiss me sometimes. And all I'm doing is delivering them a sandwich. But I don't know, it gave me a pretty strange outlook on the world. And I wanted to capture the anxiety of that. And then also the kind of, I don't know, there was something a little bit fantastical about being objectified by these people too, where it's, oh, they loved me for no reason. So I wanted to capitalize on that life experience a little bit and then take it from there, pull in a lot of movie references, pull in different ways of telling that story and bring in love, monogamy, and just the tenderness of love and relationships, and then also there's a little bit of a paranoia and horror to it as well. And I wanted to create a world that accommodated all of that.
How do you find your actors? Because they're doing some really outrageous things, and I'm curious how you get people to agree to go along with you.
I find people who are either my friends or friends of friends, mostly. People who either know my work or come from like a trusted, recommended person, so that it's not that crazy of an ask by the time that they're reading the script. I try to present what I'm looking for up front also. Be like, there's going to be sex and nudity and violence in this movie, and we're at a low budget. And I think it's good to have these personal relationships too and this trust so that there's better communication and better empathy on set, because we're working 12, sometimes more hours a day. And so if there is already that pre-established ease of communication, it makes it a safer environment, and then also makes people more adventurous at the same time because there's that trust there already. There were a couple people that I reached out to that I didn't have those relationships with, like Ginger Lynn Allen or Nina Hartley. They're in Anything That Moves, but they are extremely experienced, especially in sex scenes. And then they've been on camera so much that they really do have this like star power ability. They're like amazing actors. which I don't think people generally would recognize from like the adult film world, but they really do. There's a reason that they were stars in the adult world, because they really do have that star quality.
I talked a little bit about the expressionistic filmmaking. I could definitely see it a lot in that scene with those close-ups, those really extreme close-ups of their faces. I can't imagine how this is going to hit an audience seeing that on the big screen.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. Obviously, it hasn't premiered at Fantasia yet at the time of this recording. So I'm really excited. It hasn't really been presented for any audience whatsoever. It's been in the editing cave for a long time. So I'm really excited to see what audiences, like what they react to. I don't know. And just to get it out into the world, I'm excited.
When did you actually shoot this, and how long did it take to shoot?
We shot it in the summer of 2023, I think. I think that's right. It took us like 21 days of principal photography and then a couple days of pickups after a lot of editing. The pickups were pretty minimal. This one shot doesn't work, and it's necessary to make the scene make sense. We got to grab this insert type of thing.
And then you said it was a long post process.
Yeah, the post process was pretty long just because I ran out of editing money for the budget and had to cut it myself, and had to work along the side of editing. And then also just, I really wanted to do production justice because we really nailed a lot of cool moves. We were really shooting for blocking and shooting to move the camera around, to move the actors around, and not do traditional coverage necessarily, not like shot reverse, not just like picking up all these little pieces to put together and post necessarily. So like getting the timing with like a camera move to fit the pacing of the film and really get the language down. Shaping stuff in production takes a lot of trust with the post process, if that makes any sense. The way that you pace the scene out when you're shooting will dictate the pacing of the entire movie if you're going to try to do everything in one or two pieces.
Who was your cinematographer on this?
His name is Hunter Zimney. He's from New York and did an amazing job. I loved working with him. One of the coolest things that we were able to come up with, and we did it on set, basically, our one of our gaffers, this guy, John Jadierkowski, he had this jib. We were using a doorway dolly, which is just like an old school dolly. And then he had this like cheap jib arm. And then we put that on top of the dolly, like on day one. All of a sudden we had this sort of makeshift crane Chapman thing, like a much fancier device. Like the way to get these moves would be really expensive if we were getting the quote unquote proper equipment. But it allowed us to get in really close and then move away from people and get like a wide shot all in the same move. And just like working with Hunter, working with Connor and John and this like amazing team with people who just are down to experiment and roll with stuff and commit fully, just totally commit to this visual language, just experiment, but do it with total authority. It's really fun. It was great.
That moving camera really pays off. I can really feel the dynamism of everything that's going on screen. And so many times with an independent film, you lock it down, maybe get a tilt, maybe a pan, but that's about it. But here I just was so immersed in this world with that moving camera.
We were really trying to be cowboys with it. Once we figured out the visual language too, like Hunter was like really just living it. And there's a lot of really cool stuff where the moving camera is moving really subtly with an actor's performance, where you know, like he'll be like pushing in a little bit or just pulling out a little bit with their words, with what their performance is doing. And that's just the kind of shit that you can't micromanage. It's not something that you can tell someone to do. And I'm really happy to have worked with him to see that kind of work. It's really cool.
I know making an independent film is one of the toughest things that there is to do. I'm curious about some of the challenges that faced you.
We did so much. There's so many locations. There's gore, there's sex, there's, like we said, these camera moves. And we shot on film. All these different things that we managed to pull off with a pretty small budget was really cool. Shooting this movie, we did so much, but also it was so much easier than shooting my first All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. Like having the support from Missing Link, which is Eddie Linker, and Vinegar Syndrome, just made it a breeze, at least for me, what I'm used to. Making a movie is absolutely not easy. I think it probably is the hardest art form. I don't know the other ones well enough, but just the man hours that go into it, it's just a crazy art form. I think we did the impossible, but it felt great doing it. When you shoot digitally, you're always thinking about post-production. You're thinking about like, where are we going to lift a shadow, or what kind of colors are we going to dial in? And when you shoot on film, it's what you do with your eye is also what the camera sees and what the actors see. Like the world building is, everyone kind of buys into it. The entire environment you're shooting on looks like what the movie's going to look like. It creates this effect on set that kind of gets everyone, all the actors and producers and everyone there, like to buy in on the movie. And when you hit record, you can hear the film moving, and it creates this, like I said, this total commitment. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and then also you can see what the negatives are with film, or not negatives, honestly. I love this. Like we sent the film out, and when it got scanned, it got scratched. There's this sequence at the beach where you see these crazy scratches, but I love it. I honestly think, like, you'll watch a Tarantino movie like Death Proof or something like that, where he's messing with these film effects. We didn't have to, make it up. It's the grunge is there. The real things are there. And then I think it really augments the craziness of that scene, and it makes it more fantastical.
What did you actually cut on?
I used Adobe Premiere. It's a program. It's a tool. It works. I lived in it for a long time. And yeah, I don't know. I really like editing. I grew to love it during this process.
What's your day job?
My day job right now, I have a million day jobs, but my one right now is I've been working at this post house doing assistant editing work for like commercials and stuff. But I've taught, I did a little bit of sound recording. I did some grant writing. I've done a lot of different things. I worked as a projectionist for a while. I pick up whatever I can to keep it going. And then also what can give me enough time to write and direct movies and get them out in the world.
When you're doing your editing, are you sending rough cuts to friends to get feedback, or is this all just you?
No aspect of filmmaking is just the director. I don't know. Maybe Stanley Kubrick is primo auteur, who is the all-seeing eye. I definitely spent a long ass time in front of the computer talking to myself, for sure. But I needed someone else to look at it and tell me I'm not crazy. I have all my producers, Spencer, Leanne, Georgia. I would bounce stuff off of them. I did a couple feedback screenings. I would send it off to other filmmaker friends or other editors just to see what they say. At the beginning of the edit of this, I worked with this guy, Troy Lewis, who also cut All Jacked Up and Full of Worms with me. And so he was a great resource for a while. And so there were like people that I leaned on to be like, oh, this is working, or absolutely not working. This is terrible. I really need that. I think everybody does. Yeah.
I know your premiere is at Fantasia, but have you had a chance to watch this with like cast and crew or anything yet?
No, I haven't. I've showed it to a couple people, more on the crew side. I haven't showed it to cast. No, yeah, this is going to be a lot of people's first time seeing it who worked on the film. And so I'm really excited for them to check it out too, especially with a big audience, especially on 35. We did a 35 millimeter print. So it's going to be really great. I'm excited to hear what they say.
Did you do a premiere of All Jacked Up at Fantasia as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good home.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like a homecoming for you. Is there a good place for people to keep up with you and the film online?
Vinegar Syndrome's doing a great job posting stuff. There's also, I just started an Instagram page for the movie, which is at ATM_movie. ATM meaning anything that moves. And so you can follow the movie on there. I'll keep posting stuff. And once we move into distribution and like theatrical stuff and physical media and all that stuff, there's going to be more stuff growing. I know Ginger Lynn will be at Fantasia, so I'll post some stuff and she'll be like signing things, and there's going to be a Vinegar Syndrome booth. So we're going to try to like get people out to see the movie and keep the announcements coming.
Alex, thank you so much for your time. This is great finally getting to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.